Hello there, welcome back. Spray love, and I'm happy to see you. So let's get started. This time I'm going to show off like the some of the cheapies in my collection. I actually own a lot of dirty cheap fragrances. Fragrances you can find for typically around $30 or less. That's what I think. I think none of them I've gotten for a higher price anyway, because there's some that I actually like traded. I had cheapies traded with other cheapies. It's like Pokemons. It's very fun. So uh, I don't always know like the actual price, but I've seen them, in discounters and whatever, and I kind of know what price range they're at. And I've checked in like I know that there's nothing right now on like Fragrance Buy or whatever that's beyond $50 Canadian. So I mean, normally it's pretty damn cheap. I think if most of them, if you find them at 50, it's too much. Okay, so and I'm going to tell you if it's a good addition or not to a collection. It's not because I own it that sometimes I traded stuff and it's not so good, or perhaps when I was buying a fragrance buy, sometimes I bought stuff just to complete an order. So anyway, let's start off with um, I also wanted to do a no clones list, but I've got the first one I'm going to talk about is actually not necessarily a clone because it's stated that it's been released before the original. It's Kuba Gold, so it's technically, technically what if we believe everything that they tell us about the fragrance, it's actually not a clone. It's launched before Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male. Uh, yeah, perhaps it's kind of it's very recognizable that it smells a lot like Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male, but it's still perhaps like pretty different. Perhaps a lot, yeah, but not that much. So Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male for like I think I bought that like with the full kit, like with the aftershave and the stuff. $15. Okay, so it's cheap. It's a very, very cheap fragrance. It's like one of the cheapest I have ever bought. And it lasts long, it projects a lot, and it smells awfully good. So mm, it's got that, Jean-Paul Gaultier vibe to it that we all love. It's got like the same kind of um, things going on with the bubblegummy like mix between tonka, lavender, and some spices and whatever. It's got that. It's 100% that. All right. So I've got it out of the way because it's the most cologne like you can think of. All right, this one too. Rochas, I think it's Lum or something like that. Man, okay. This one is a spicy coffee type fragrance. It's kind of like Halloween Man X, but it's not as dirty cheap, in fact. And I already owned Halloween Man X. This one is a lot better done in general. It's the coffee sweet coffee note is better. There's raspberry also. It's kind of like a perfect breakfast. So this fragrance, it's very cool. The bottle is looking very weird. It's kind of fits well if you have a Star Trek collection or something like that. Star Wars, you want to put a horn on something. This fragrance is there for that job, and then you can tear it off and spray some. I don't know. Let's be creative with our fragrance bottles for some time. And this one is yeah, it's actually the same perfumer as a Bond Number 9 fragrance. I kind of forget the name, but yeah, it's the same exact scent profile as a Bond Number 9 fragrance. So it's not a clone, it's just the same perfumer. And it's got like the same kind of aroma chemical recipe and just This one is cheaper. It's less quality ingredients, but it does the trick. It's very cool. All right, so I've got also what fragrance could I? So that one was, yeah, another, like, it's a winter type evening fragrance. It doesn't last long, for real. Doesn't last long, but projects pretty well while it lasts. I've got this one too. It's actually a tester from Tonka by Kokeshi. Um, it's a fragrance that only has Tonka. Okay, so it's a fresh, kind of fresh summery Tonka. It's kind of citrusy, but the only note listed is Tonka, and it's called Tonka. It's an eau de toilette. It lasts a decent amount. It smells like an eau de cologne. I think this one is actually very nice. You know, you can add it to almost anything, and it will freshen it, give it a Tonka vibe, and it's going to be very cool. But also, you can wear it by itself, and it's actually pretty impressive. You won't smell like anyone else. It's very different. Um, but still very cool. I think I'm just gonna add it up to there. I made another video about like the 1 million parfum, and it's pretty cool. But just gonna freshen it up with Kokeshi Tonka. It smells very good. It's doesn't look like it. It costs like $5, but it's smells damn good. It smells clean and fresh, almost like a bit summery, but it's $5, and it's only Tonka, and no one smells Tonka like that. All right, it's a strange one, but very nice, very pleasing. All right, so we're gonna jump to more designer realm fragrances. There's this one, Versace the Dreamer. I actually bought this one. I think I bought it like $25 in a Winners, which is kind of a TJ Maxx. So this one is always discounted heavily. It's an old school Versace fragrance, and old school Versace fragrances, they're dirty cheap. This one is a white floral with tobacco leaves. It's a white floral that still packs a punch. It's drier than, say, l'Odyssée, but still very nice and dreamy and cloud-like. It's an amazing fragrance, completely unique. Go smell it if you haven't. It's worth a sniff. All right. Then another kind of like designer fragrance, Jimmy Choo Man Ice. So if you can actually see, I used it quite a lot because this one is actually amazing. Okay, it's a citron fragrance. You know that fruit that you find like a, I think it's what part of the world, like Israel, around that. Anyway, it's like a big lemon, and it smells really nice. It's actually like the whole purpose of the fruit, like what we use it for most of the time, is the smell. Uh, I think it's still used in cooking sometimes, but I've mostly seen it used for the smell and for like Jewish ceremonies and stuff like that. This one has a citron smell. It's like a more gritty kind of lemon. It's smooth yet very dense, and it's very nice. It's actually like a scent that I just love. I think that when I run out of the bottle, I'm gonna look for like citron scents. I've I've seen like Terre d'Hermas, L'eau givrée. It's actually like it smells pretty close to that. Okay, so it smells. This one will smell a bit like Dior Homme Cologne or Terre d'Hermas, L'eau givrée, because of the citron note in Terre d'Hermas, L'eau givrée, but it's still more classy version than this one. But this one, awfully nice. I was wearing it at the beach all the time, just spraying and spraying. It doesn't last that long, but it's not the purpose. You know, you just spray it on, sweat it off, spray it on. It's okay, you know, and it smells wonderful. Very fresh. It's called ice, so it's icy. I love it. It's an amazing scent. All right. Then I'm gonna talk about an old '80s classic, Quorum. Quorum, I think I made a trade, but I'm fairly certain that this one can be found for 10 or 15 bucks. I've seen it like full retail, in shops for $30. So I'm pretty sure that discounted this one is like 10 or 15. And it's for the price. I mean, people go and buy Sauvage Elixir because it has that masculine punch, and that cinnamon and the whatever and the spices and stuff. It's all like Sauvage Elixir has got something to do with those fragrances, Dracar Noir, Quorum, Zaro Purum, Polo, the green one, which is just Polo by Ralph Lauren. All these fragrances, they are green fragrances with oak moss and the spices and the everything, the carnation and whatever. And this uh, is 15 bucks. It lasts the same amount of time as Sauvage Elixir. It packs a punch. It's an amazing fragrance, and it's got that traditionally, 80s hairy chest kind of a vibe. It's very rough, It's got that aftershave kind of a feel to it. It's super rough, but I love it. It smells like a forest, it's too good. It smells like the oak moss in the forest and the forest trees and the pines and the whatever. It's super sexy. I love that fragrance. I guess that if you wanted to add a little modern edge to it, you would get to, yeah, Sauvage Elixir, perhaps something in the likes of Sauvage Elixir. But why? It's 15 bucks. No. But for real, it's an amazing fragrance. I love it. You could add ambroxan to it and stuff like that and get somewhat close to a modernized twist around that, like a modernized men's fragrance twist. And by the way, I think that I would love to see women wear that more also, because it's got something, it's very, very sexy. I think it's even very sexy for women too. I'm kind of tired of like the over sweet scent in women. Like it, it's not women's scent shouldn't be as like childish, I think, as they are right now. But that's a personal opinion. There's lots of very nice. I'm gonna review a bit more also. I want to review more women's fragrances and the ones that I like. But I definitely encourage people like women to wear that, and anyone out there, give it a try. You'll probably sniff it and be like, oh no, I don't want that, and that's totally fine. All right. Now, let's continue forth our adventure with Team 5 Edition Spéciale. No, Special Edition Team 5 Adidas. This is one of the cheapest looking bottle I've ever seen. It's the atomizer is plastic with a blue like straw in it. It's horrible, but it smells decently nice. It's a gym fragrance, it's a gym fragrance around. It's kind of an Invictus twist with pine. Okay, so that's kind of the fragrance that it is. It's Invictusy with pine. It costs about $3 to $5. It's very that cheap. I've seen it in shops. They sell it sometimes at $15 to $20, but I think that's more like a $5 range fragrance. And for a $5 range fragrance, it does smell awfully nice. I actually got compliments wearing that. I'm like, I'm like the fragrance guy. I'm just spray love. I'm just getting fragrances all the time, and super niche ones that I wear, and I'm like, oh yeah, people will think that I'm very fancy and whatever, and get no compliments, but then get complimented on a $5 fragrance. That's sad, but it's reality. People don't know the price you pay for fragrances. They just know how good you smell. Anyway, let's get another designer fragrance. Dolce& and Gabbana K. I remember buying that in a discounter for like $30 to $35. I don't remember exactly the price. Perhaps with the taxes, 35. Okay. This one, It's a kind of small sized bottle, and I'm running almost out of it. No, it's half of it. It's been years, so it's okay. Get the smaller bottles. It costs less. Anyway, this one, um, a very super nice modern twist on aromatic fragrances that is still very good for like summer and going to the beach and stuff. It has juniper, pimento, so it's got something that is very spicy, very like oriented around pimento, but also very very fresh and clean. And the juniper gives it a nice little bright, sweet, fruity vibe to it. Also, on the beach, it's amazing. It smells like a musky, fruity, uh, spicy, still spicy and woodsy fragrance. Uh, it's got a traditional masculine vibe, but it's modernized. Okay, it's kind of like if you took an old aromatic fragrance and mixed it with Dolce and Gabbana light blue, and then you got this summer beach killer. It's super cool. It it smells amazing. It's light. It's fun. Um, yeah, and it still packs a punch. It doesn't last long at all, but it's not the point. I'm just wearing it when I go outside and sweat it off and respray, and I don't give a damn. And even if I respray a lot, like I didn't use the full bottle yet, so you can respray. It's okay. Don't think like, oh, I need to get the 200 milliliter bottle so I can respray all the time, because if you got like five fragrances, you're good for like 3 years. It's like, and I've got like 40, so I'm good forever. I'll never run out. Anyway, let's get to another one. It's Guess 1981 Los Angeles. Um, this one is kind of a People are often comparing it to Versace Eros. I do understand why. It's got a Versace Eros and 1 million vibe. It's spicy and sweet. Um, it's got a plum note that is amazing. The plum note is just wonderful. It's so juicy and like, yeah, fresh and juicy, but very sweet, very round, very smooth. It's a very smooth fragrance. And it's like, I think it's probably around the $20 to $30 range in general. Perhaps you can get it at discounters for 15 or 10. It's a For the price, it's like, yeah, you can pay up for like 1 million or Versace Eros, but then this one is like $20, and it lasts a long time. It doesn't have the projection that those fragrances have. It doesn't have a mighty projection that could slay a dragon from afar, but it's still like a very like nice intimate projection. It's more than an arm's reach. It smells super nice. It's perfect for an evening out. Very warm, very spicy. The bottle looks amazing. The coloring and stuff. It's cool. It's kind of like an Yves Saint Laurent bottle. um, that being said, let's get to the last one, the last of the cheapies, and it was a gift from my father. It's 007. I think it's called 007 Eau de Parfum or whatever, I don't know, but it's got a green apple note. It's a gym fragrance, obviously. Like, it's an obvious gym like fragrance for me. But then again, I start to gravitate around it more and more because it smells awfully nice. It smells very, very cool. It's like a bit like Dolce& and Gabbana Key. It's kind of like doing the same job, but it's like green apple, there's rose, it's a bit more flowery, less spicy, but more flowery. And the spices are more like traditional masculine type spices. It's still got like oak moss too, so it's a very nice fragrance overall. Um, I would recommend it, but not at retail price. I would recommend it at a huge discount, perhaps 10 to 15. dollars. Would there be any of those fragrances I presented to you? I think that if you actually had all these fragrances, you would like a 10 fragrance collection that is very, very much like killer. You know, you have every situations you could ever want. You can go to the gym, like you can go to the gym with those fragrances. You can go to the beach with some other fragrances. You can be like a bit more different and wear white floral sometimes, or classic masculine scents, or Le Male, or whatever, and you'd be covered for the rest of your life. So you could have like you could be covered for like $300 to $250. You know, even less perhaps. And I think that um, sometimes you don't have to pay up, and sometimes, you know, I'm pretty sure that there's people out there who just rock quorum all year long and they're happy with that. And or people that would you would see, oh, just four fragrances for every season, and they'd be happy with that. And I encourage you to like try to be minimalist. Don't be like me and be a collector. No, but if you want to collect, it's okay, but assume it. You know, you're a collector. you're not just a you're not just someone who wants to wear good fragrances. You're like collecting fragrances because there's a passion for the hobby. But I think that you could have something for any situation. Is there fragrances that I actually wouldn't recommend you buying? Yeah, Adidas Team 5, Tonka by Kokeshi. I love that fragrance, but for real, it's strange. For the normal user, it's a very strange fragrance. Um, but after all, it's all about taste. So yeah, spread love and spray love. Bye bye.